Hello, everyone. Today we are here with Pamela Paquin at Peace Fur, and Pamela's going to tell us a little bit about herself, who she is, what she does, and why she's here. So, Pamela, let's just get started with a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my family, we're dairy farmers in this town, and I had lived abroad for over a decade doing sustainability work, consulting, working with large-scale multinationals on sustainability challenges they had in their products or their processes, and became a mom, and came home with my daughter and needed to find a way to make money and not travel the way that I used to. And it was like, what am I going to do? And of course, I'm at the same time feeling so nurturing, and I'm seeing all the dead animals on the side of our roads, and it was horrifying and super upsetting. And so it was just this wrestling issue that I had. And then let me show you Fifi, actually. Come on over here. See if you can get she's right here. I had ferrets when I lived in Denmark. This is Fifi. That's her in the French Alps playing.
Oh, look at how cute.
She was having a lot of fun. We're trying to keep her from going down the rabbit holes. And so I had ferrets grow, they were like portable pets. I could take them traveling with me. And I realized very quickly that they couldn't live in a cage. They needed, my house wasn't big enough. I had to run them. And apparently weasels go about 5 miles a day, foxes 15. And yet in Denmark where I lived, they made about 30 million mink pelts a year.
Wow.
At fur farms. And I was really upset about that. The fur culture in Denmark and Europe in general is a lot stronger. People wear it everywhere.
Right.
And so I used to go into the furriers with Fifi and Pepe and be like, these are my ferrets, please. Could you think about using something else? And they made the very good point that faux fur is oil. It's petroleum. Synthetic fabrics are petroleum, and they make up about 65% of all the garments we wear these days. So
Oh, wow.
anything polyester, anything, what's the word? Synthetic, all the fleece. And now the problem is there's so much of it that not only is it going into the soil, it's also going into the water systems because the treatment plants don't have filters that catch the microfibers that come out of our washing machines.
Oh, wow.
So it's showing up, for example, in New England offshore in the scallops and the mussels and all of our food that we're eating, our seafood. So that's really a problem. Yeah, it's not just at the macro level where you can see the plastic bags, it's also the micro level. So being a sustainability consultant, of course, and being aware of the very complex systems that we inhabit and rely on, all those things are tugging at me. And I had Naya, and I was just...
And Naya's your daughter.
Naya's my daughter. She's 8 now, but at the time she was 4. And I was up in Jaffrey, New Hampshire, actually, at that point, and thinking, what am I going to do that I don't travel? I can raise my daughter, and I can still make a decent living and do something good for the world. And I was like, I had been thinking about this for a long time. Somebody needed to do this. And finally I was like, all right, that's me, I guess. And so I met with some taxidermists and trappers and the highway guys in the sheds, and I was like, can you call me if you have a dead body? Because of course they're the ones who have to pick them up. And they were kind enough to say yes, and a local taxidermist up in Jaffrey taught me how to skin and flesh. And then, the local cobbler, I was like, who works with something like fur? And of course on fur it's leather, essentially, with hair on it. So there was like an ancient Korean War vet cobbler, and he took me into his basement. He had the grandpa jars with all of his tools,
wow.
Screwed up in the ceiling, and he had one of these Singer 29 Ford treadle machines. Let me show you this. Come on over. This is what I learned on. This is an amazing machine. I had actually my Uncle Alan loved it. He loved old machines, and he just passed, but he wanted this in his house, so I just got this back. But it literally, they're shipping these things to India. They're so valuable because they don't need electricity. So you just, you can use the treadle, and then this is a cobbler's sewing machine, so it can go through leather, which is the whole point. So that was my first machine. And then if you come over here, this is another machine. This is an actual fur machine. It's not plugged in right now, but if I open up these jaws, you can stick the fur in here, and then the needle will make a nice flat seam. It's a much nicer, flatter seam.
Wow.
And then for some small work, the ladies at the Charlton Sewing Center, I went to them when I moved to the area, and I was like, can Kathy, what do I do? I need a sewing machine, and I don't know how to sew this and that. And they help me, and they're just amazing women there, so resourceful and smart. And like the quilts that they make, you know, they're worth thousands of dollars. The man hours and the quality of stitch in them is incredible. So I've learned a lot since then, and had a lot of people helping me. But yeah, let me show you a few different parts of what I do. Over here, come on over here. So we're still building out our factory space, but over here are a few of the tools of the trade, so to speak. This is where I stretch my furs out. This is sound insulation called, I think, Hematite, and I can staple in it. So you see there's staples everywhere because I water down and stretch out my skins and to get more fur out of them. And so that's what this surface is generally used for. I skin the animals outside, but I brought up some of my tools. Don't be afraid.
Tools of the trade. Be very, very afraid.
Don't be afraid.
And so again, I think it's important to mention that these are animals that have died accidentally or
Yes.
naturally,
Yes.
that otherwise would just have been disposed of.
Yes, these are all off the roads. Like I said, I work with highway departments, animal control officers. I have men in different states that I buy from because obviously I'm not going to drive 2 hours
Right.
for one raccoon. So they gather in their areas and then I buy from them. It's really helpful. But I always put on my gloves. I have a trapping license and a fur buyer's license because in Massachusetts that's what you have to do this. And this is a Victorinox knife. This little thing can skin a moose.
Oh, wow.
That is super sharp, and you pull up the skin, and you get the connective tissue. You can do this to your chicken at home. In practice, you know, because it's essentially what it is.
Right.
I don't pick up the rotten ones. I pick up the ones that look like they're sleeping. You
Right.
know? If they've been scavenged a little bit, you know, I can deal with that, or the head's a little squished. Because it's the back fur that I really go for, and you'll see that when we look through the fur. But yeah, if you just lift up the skin, you cut into the skin, and then it's very easy, and especially if it's still warm and it hasn't frozen, it's like peeling off a dress.
Right.
So that's what you do. Like that. So I love these. These are like $5 each and super handy. This is a necker knife. It's like a double-edged samurai sword. So after I have skinned the fur off, I used to put the animals back in the woods or into the landfill, depending on what the town wanted me to do. Every town's different.
Right.
Now I work with a rendering company that takes them to, I believe, New York, and they are turned into protein.
Oh,
So
wow.
It's great, yeah. So, it's fantastic meat. Any hunter will tell you, a person will tell you, the best meat you can have is wild
Right.
meat. So flip it over, leather side exposed, and then you go like this, and one side is super sharp, the other is a little bit less sharp and a little more rounded of a blade for different types of leather. So when you're working with fox, for example, it's a very thin, fine leather, and you can break it very easily.
Okay.
Whereas with deer and beaver and that sort of thing, you have to really kind of push down to scrape off the excess fat and materials. So that's what that is, and so I have my gloves, I use garbage bags. I mean, it's interesting. I never ever, I needed a lot of whiskey.
If someone said to you 15 years ago,
Yeah,
hey,
no.
Pamela, you think someday you'll be doing like this?
I know, no I didn't. Okay, so let's go this way. I come over to the fur, and I brought out some of my favorite furs. Maybe come over to this side. And over here. So I'll stand on the other side. You be here, and that way you can get the furs. So we'll start over here. These are some of my materials that I work with. This is a black bear. He's from Connecticut.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's got a lighter fur because he wasn't fully in prime pelt,
Wow.
but still very useful. And this is a bear, this is part of a bear from Dalton, Maine. He was so big it was frightening having him in my house. You can see he's a lot more fur.
Wow.
He's a big boy, and this is a really thick and heavy leather. So, for example, my fur machine won't work with heavy leather like this. It only does the finer stuff. So I have to, that's when I need another industrial sewing machine. This is a gorgeous cinnamon coyote from Connecticut. She was beautiful. And then raccoon. I'll show you some finished raccoon pieces. This is a raccoon.
Gotta love the raccoon.
They're so sweet.
Aw.
I just love them. These are, even though they kill my chickens, it's
Right.
still love them. Here's fawn. You can see they're different
different fawns. This one I just stretched, so you'll see that, just how beautiful that leather is. It's very soft, but it's been stretched. So yeah, fawn 4, I marked them for my inventory.
That's incredible.
But they're just, you can't hunt fawn, obviously. They only ever die by accident, usually tractors or cars, obviously. Oh, this is this is a white goat. This is a piece that's unfinished. This coyote and going to an owner down in Connecticut. Coyote and goat.
Wow.
This was a goat from a cheese farm that I think it got into the grain bin or something.
Oh,
and
no.
It like died. And so it's, but again,
How
very.
cute, a little vest.
Yeah, it's gonna be this little vest.
Oh.
So, and it'll be reversible, so she can wear it
Oh, gorgeous.
either way out. That'll be a lot of fun. And then this is the kind of thing we do. You'll see with the with just the little bits. This is a little bit of gray fox. You can see here are 2 gray foxes, and that was just a little bit that was left over. So little bracelets.
How cute is that?
Red fox. These are some of. I'm down to not as much as I used to have because it's the end of the first season for sales. So gray fox, red fox. Interestingly, when you have gray fox and red fox living in the same place, the grays will kick out the reds, which is something that
A territorial thing.
they just, for some reason, they're better. It's like gray squirrels and red squirrels in Scotland. I guess they're just more adaptable or something.
Interesting.
This is a beaver. He's beautiful. Not the beavers from Gulfwood Road. My babies. So this is a smaller beaver, and that is with that hair. I have a beaver hat that I'll show you later on, but this is an incredibly durable and wonderful fur that can shed water. And then this is sheared beaver, which looks a lot like mink and is not waterproof anymore but very soft. Touch this, you feel.
Oh, this is incredible.
Yeah, and then this is the wild beaver. So this is with the long
Oh,
guard
yeah.
hair still on. You can feel it.
You can feel the difference.
Totally
This is
feel the
incredible.
This is actually New England fiber pool alpaca. I work with a farmer from Northbrook Farms, and I source all my knitwear from her alpacas.
Nice.
So they're obviously animal welfare certified, very well taken care of. They're nice liberal alpacas from Massachusetts. This is deer leather. So I use deer. I don't use deer for fur. I use it for I'm going to be making bags and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So it's exciting. This I wanted to show you. This is a coyote, and this is what happens when he's been outside too long. So you see the way it's bald there? This is after tanning. The bacteria started getting into the pores, and
Oh, okay.
so it came back, this gorgeous coyote, very sadly, with some bald patches. Because I didn't get to it in time. So that's a shame. But yeah, and then we have lots of, this is a cotton, and we have wools, cotton, just gorgeous, really kind of sumptuous fabrics. This is a really nice red wool we used in our Christmas line, and silks. Everything's lined with silk.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I just try to keep it as natural as possible. So come on over here this way. I'll show you some pieces that I'm working on right now. These are 4 neck muffs that are going to a bridal party in California. And so I'll show you what they're going to look like. So this wedding is at the end of the month, and the mother and her 3 daughters will each have their own fur neck muff.
Beautiful.
Splashed out. People see or hear about me on the TV, and then call me, and I get to make these amazing pieces for them. And
That's awesome.
they're really kind of, they're heirlooms.
Yeah.
Is it that way? So
That's beautiful.
just like that. Super warm, will last for generations. So even though they seem really expensive, we don't have that habit anymore. We're such a disposable culture. We buy something, it lasts for a little while, and then we throw it away.
Exactly.
And we're just not used to investing. But we used to spend about 10% of our income in any given year on our wardrobe. And now we're spending a lot less. And we're getting, obviously, a lot less good quality. Things aren't made locally.
Right.
These used to be, very interestingly, actually, these mills, at one time, this was it was a woolen mill. The Hamilton Woolen Mills. So this place is on the Historic Register, and was one of the first in the area. And at one time, then, was the largest cotton mill in the country.
Oh, wow.
After that,
which was amazing. So there's a ton of history and legacy in this building. And it took me, Rosemary introduced me to Guido, who owns A&M and this space. And at first, I couldn't figure out, because I was thinking I had to bring the bodies in.
Right.
And I didn't want to deal with, like, other people being around carcasses. It just seemed really like a bad liability issue. So, but we figured it out. We figured out how to be able to create a space outside where I could do that.
Awesome.
So that other people wouldn't have to be around when I was...
Right, and this is just your manufacturing space anyways. This is not a
Yes.
retail facility.
No, not retail. It's just manufacturing. I think someday we might have like some sort of showroom as the building changes. I know SJC Drums is coming. They're going to be downstairs.
Oh, nice.
So I'm digging that. Yeah, like rock and roll and fur. Yeah.
Right? That's a
makes
beautiful
sense.
partnership right there.
And come on over here. I have a few pieces. By the way, you're always going to see me in overalls. If I'm not in like stilettos and a skirt, I'm in overalls.
Excellent.
It's my working gear. So I'll take you through a few pieces. This is really a staple piece. This is a raccoon neck muff with a red silk lining. And hold on, I gotta get this off. There we go. What I love this design because it's basically two raccoons butt to butt.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that it's really tall like that, because when you go into the city or you're in wind tunnels,
Yeah,
you're just like,
that's perfect.
you can cover it up or you can make it smaller, and then it's a little bit more discreet. So
And that red lining's amazing.
It's very
You gotta have that splash. I love red. Like, that's my
Yeah.
signature color, I always say. Which is funny, because I'm
Exactly.
always dressed in black. But
Yeah, right? I
my
know.
signature color is red.
And then this is some red fox on a vest. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful, fluffy animal. This was
Oh,
part of
yeah.
our kind of Scandinavian winter line that we made. We do doggy stuff.
Oh,
But again, you can
cute.
see kind of really traditional herringbone tweed and with a little fur, just to splash out a little bit. For
Awesome.
Your puppy. And this is fun. This is like a scarf with little pom-poms
Yeah.
on the end.
Nice.
Little things. So in here, these are
And the cuter small
bracelets.
little,
This
like,
little
bracelets.
red.
I love that.
Red fox with some chain. I had this wonderful designer, Lara Gordon, on Newbury Street that I worked with for 2 years. I was selling on Newbury Street. Let's come over here. And I got really inspired by working near her. This is a fawn. This is a fawn. Ooh, it's over on this side. Come on over on this side. A fawn and rabbit clutch.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's just a little clutch. You can put your stuff inside, big enough for, cards, and we make bigger versions of this. But, the idea really is that you have, it's kind of like a piece of jewelry
Right.
for your body, rather than just a functional purse. So you can see I like bangles and stuff, but the idea is to be able to look pretty
That's awesome.
when you're carrying your stuff around.
So you were working with somebody on Newbury Street, and yet here you are in Southbridge, and you decided to come and put your factory here. So tell me about that.
Yeah. It's it was a very, obviously the price of space per square foot is completely different, but it was an issue of, there we go.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that so
I love that.
cute? And then dual functionality.
Yes.
So it can go down around the neck as well.
That's incredible.
That's a fisher. A male fisher.
Oh, those crazy animals that make that horrible screeching sound that scare you in the middle of the
Yes,
night.
but it's like Russian sable. It's wonderful.
It's beautiful.
And then we do, here you can see vests with trim, that's raccoon on it. Down here, raccoon, that's a raccoon leg warmer with the red
Oh,
deer
look at
leather
that.
that I was talking about on the back.
That's very cool.
And another vest with raccoon trim. Oh, this is the beaver hat I wanted to tell you about. I put it outside. I use this all the time, and I made the huge mistake of wearing it while I was doing my burn pile last year.
Oh,
and
no.
Singed the front of the beaver hat.
Oh, no.
It singed my beaver. But I mean, you put it so that the hair is facing that way, and it's just, and then you can put the ear flaps down. It is.
I am digging that hat.
Isn't that just so cute?
Yes, I love it.
So yeah, and then we do like little pom-pom earrings
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, this is a buck that my uncle shot years and years ago. I just spray painted it silver. It's
Oh,
kind of
look at
sassy,
that.
you know? But that's the thing, like, there's
Very
beauty
creative.
everywhere.
Yes.
This is interesting, actually, if you look, come on over here this way. This is a fiber optic rod that, from the fiber optic company that was here before me.
Oh, how funny.
But I have a few more of them, and I'm really
That's
looking
perfect.
forward to like integrating that into the design of the space, because it's like in honor of what it used to be.
That's
a little
awesome.
bit. And recycling and upcycling, it's a mindset, I guess.
Exactly.
Southbridge, very simply because I feel that this place is it's the beginning of the new American economy. That here we are, we have all this space, we have all this ingenuity and all this need, right? Okay, so we don't want to buy things from China anymore. We want
Right.
to buy from our neighbors, and we talk about that all the time on the Facebook page. And you have to commit, and it was kind of like that decision that I made, like, all right, it's time to commit, I'm gonna go get a knife,
Right.
and I'm gonna figure out how to do this, and just walk the talk. I'm at that point in my life. You either do or you don't do.
Right.
And now is my time.
That's awesome.
I spent my young life being very deferential to people who I thought were older than me and must know better. And then I saw all these amazing young people, scrappy people who were doing enormously valuable, useful things and businesses and I was like, oh wait, I can do something. And that's what made me start. And I love it. And I love that I can bring Naya with me and nobody can tell me that she can't come.
Right.
I'm in charge.
Exactly.
I love paying people living wage. I pay people $20 an hour because I know as a single mom that, you know, $11 an hour is not gonna cut it. The babysitter costs more, thank you very much.
Right.
So there are those kind of philosophies and strategies about building a business not just for profit for me or for whomever might be a part of the company, but also to profit the town, to profit the nation's effort to become more of a manufacturing base now.
Awesome.
And also, obviously, the workers. Like, when I have this space filled with people, it will be with a daycare, and kids have to be able to come. That's just the way it is. That's life. And that richness of understanding about those things and feeling that I could, or even just like growing my hair long was the thing from Denmark that I really got, because they're so family friendly there. You know, you have a 36-hour work week. There's no such thing as homelessness. If you are homeless, they will get you an apartment. Now, you have to take classes and you have to be ready to do job searching and that sort of thing, but they really help you get back on your feet. And you have a year paid maternity leave. Paid.
That's incredible.
Maternity leave. 1 year. Amazing. And then you get your job back when you're done.
That's
right?
incredible.
And the fathers can take as much or as little of that as they want. I think they want the mothers to do the first 6 months because they really encourage breastfeeding and bonding between the mom and
Right.
the child. It's just so sensible. You know, so being exposed to all of that was really key to helping me form my opinion of what could happen and what should happen, really. So I'm quite an advocate for the cultural practices, norms, policies, and even technology that I saw while I was abroad.
That's awesome.
But I really do. I see myself as a global citizen. Most of my clients are away, you know, we have pieces on every continent. We've obviously had news coverage on every continent. It's amazing, I can't keep up. I started and they got wind of me, and I literally, prior to buying my house in Southbridge, I was waiting to sell my Danish house. So I was literally living in my friend's guest room, like struggling to make ends meet, walking dogs on the side, and then like all of a sudden Nightline and CNN are...
That's incredible.
Literally the week I moved to Southbridge was that first snowstorm of the 8-foot winter we had.
Yes.
And like 2 days after I moved in, the German news crew was there for 2 days, and then Nightline,
Wow.
and I was like, and then I remember going to the DPW and being like, can you guys please fill the potholes? It was so funny. I was such a pain in the butt. But it's gone really well. We just had NBC here. They're going to be airing, I know they're already doing teasers, I think Monday or Tuesday we're going to be on NBC.
That's incredible.
And that's really, you know, it's exciting. It's not what I ever planned to do. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to work hard. And for me, it means so much to be in Southbridge because as a business, you know, it's really exciting. There's a lot of energy and opportunity. I really feel that. Like, there's the most tension in the places where there's the most pain. I was a peace studies major, peace and conflict resolution. That's what I did my master's in. And then I went and I started studying complex systems dynamics and how they function. And what I realized, and obviously we all know this, it's a no-brainer, wherever there's the gap, that's where the opportunity is. Wherever there's pain and tension, that's where the problem is, and that's where the solution has to start at. And so that's where the money is to be made. And in the fur industry, using 80 million animals a year in cages is a huge pain point for consumers, for the animals, for the industry itself, for designers. And so Peace Fur, there's 1 million animals a day killed on the roads. And so we can tap those animals, and I'm not just making pieces, I'm also stepping into wholesale now. So what's really exciting is that I have designers who want my fur, and they're waiting for me to scale, essentially. Help!
All right.
Help! Oh, here's the heating system. Come on over here.
Sorry for the heating system,
Sorry
guys.
for the heating system. So, we can replace all the cage fur in the world. Let's turn this way. Okay, good there. So that's the idea, is to replace all the cage fur in the world, because it's 360 million plus animals dying on our roads and 80 million that the fur industry is using. So it's possible.
Right.
So that's my job. So that's what I do.
Excellent. Well, that is fantastic, and I am thrilled that I was able to meet with you today.
You want to come?
Yeah.
Say hi?
Yes.
Should we try something?
What do we want to try? Oh, you want to do the bow and arrow?
What?
No.
You know how to do that?
Use the one that has a broken tip, honey. Yeah, Mac, here. Here. We don't want the dog to get hit. This is Mac. Mac, sit. Sit. Sit.
Beautiful.
Where should I point it?
That way.
I want the basket.
Just keep it on her rather than.
Right.
Go ahead.
Wow. That's amazing.
See this. Hopefully you learn about another business in town. The Connecticut Renaissance Fair owner lives here in town and stores some of the stuff here. And I got this handmade ash bow at the fair because there's an archer there who hand makes these bows. And I tested them out. And anyway, it's a gorgeous piece of art.
Beautiful.
Now it's your turn to shoot it.
No, we're gonna do that.
We'll save that for another day.
I'll see you guys out there, and no, I don't take random phone calls from people. I work with people that I know and have licenses. I have to follow protocol, but I thank you for everybody who offers all the time. I really appreciate it.
If somebody wants to learn more about you or find you, your website is?
www.peacefur.com.
And you have a Facebook page as well?
Yes, Peacefur.
Okay,
Yep,
awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Naya.